Hi everyone, it's Vicki here and I am designing today for the Hip Kit Club with the November kits. I wanted to do a boyish layout and you can see there I've just lined up all the things that I could find in the blues and greens and yellows in the kit, just so that I've got them to hand. And now I'm just doing the page, getting ready for doing some mixed media. It's Mixed Media Monday and that's my task for this week. So I've put some gesso over on the left and my idea is to put some texture through the stencils that came with the kit, the Heidi Swapp stencils. So I mixed some of the texture paste with some of the Shimmerz Deep Blue Sea, and that gave me a nice blue colour which I put through the stencil and just did some of the dots, the larger dots down the page. And then after that was dry, I decided I wanted to get out the minor 49er shimmers that we had a few months ago from the kit and just put some through the smaller stencil on top. So you can see I ended up using a stencil brush because it worked better than a normal paintbrush. So that's just going on there now. So I also did some splatters in the two colours and then I left it overnight to dry properly, fully, and came back to it in the morning. So you'll see a change of clothes here, different shirt on. So okay, so now I want to use the packaging technique and put some more colour where the photos are going to go. So I'm mixing some yellow, which is the sunflower yellow from last month's kit, I think, and some of the deep blue sea from this month's kit, just to make a green, and just sort of checking it against some of the embellishments just to make sure it's the right green that I want. Okay, so packaging technique, just a piece of clear packaging from some embellishments that I've had and put it on the page, and then use my brush to just move that around a bit more to fill up the space. So you'll see that I'll bring the photos back on just to see how big an area that I need between each sort of section that I do. So that's what I'm doing there. You can see I want to be able to see the green above and below the photo really. So next up I'm just putting on some blue, just the same deep blue sea blue as I had for the texture. It looks darker of course because it's more concentrated. The texture paste was mixed in with white, so it diluted it just a little bit. So there's the blue. I'll also do some splatters there before I move on. And also soak up some of the ink with my tissue paper there, my kitchen paper. Just soak up the excess from there so that it will dry easier. Next, I think I'm going to take out the minor 49er again and add some of that around, just checking again with the photos. Yeah, so some minor 49er just in a few places there. And this time I'm just putting it straight on with the brush. I'm not using the packaging technique, just straight on with the brush in the places that I want it to go, just to concentrate it a bit better. Okay, and some splatters of course, always with the splatters. So I actually dried this with the heat tool, but I don't show that on camera. It just sort of comes through. It just cuts there, and then we see me next with putting the photos back on. So there you go. It is dry now, but I realised that once I start to put the embellishments, I'm not going to have any of the colour to the right and left of the photo. So I just mix up a little bit more green here with the same two colours and put it on. Unfortunately, the green that I mixed was a slightly different colour, but that's okay. It's still the right sort of ballpark colour. And on the left where I put it, there was no gesso, so it soaks into the paper a bit too much. But again, I'm not too concerned because I think ultimately you don't see very much of it anyway once it's all put together. So some splatters from that colour just to tie it all in. I think then I bring back in the deep blue sea and do some splatters just from that, straight from the pot. So they're slightly larger splatters, and dry it off with my kitchen paper. So now I'm layering up the layout. So I've got some offcuts of paper that I had from previous layouts that I've done. I've got some cut out fussy cut flowers, which I'd already cut out for a previous layout and not used, from the Heidi Swapp paper. I've got some of the blue acetate leaves that are the exclusives in this month's kit, and I've got, I think, a couple of, oh, I've got some Heidi Swapp vellum embellishment in there as well. So I've just done that. So now I'm putting it all together, layering it up, sticking it down. You'll notice the previous part was very fast while I put them in. I've slowed it down a bit now, but I didn't want it to be too painful for you to watch. So here I am, just layering it back up, sticking everything down. I actually don't stick the photos until after I've put the embellishments down, although I've stuck them to the background. I just wanted to be able to move them around while I did my sticking. So I've just brought in a couple of the exclusive die cuts there, Love You and Hello. And now I'm going to start sticking. So yeah, here we go. Stick down the big flower there. And then just sort of, I just put things back on just to make sure I've stuck it in the right place. You'd think my brain would realise where it had to go, but you know, sometimes I don't. So yeah, so I'm sticking them down, all the leaves. I think the blue acetate leaf at the bottom I forget to stick, but I realised that when I picked it up to photograph it, and so that does actually get stuck at the end. Yeah, here we go. So I'll leave that in place, stick some more. The glue I'm using is just a wet glue in a fine liner bottle. So I think it's called tacky glue, but it sticks really well. And the fine liner bottle makes it really, really easy to use, because otherwise it's quite a large bottle and you get big gloop out of it, which isn't very helpful. Okay, so just still sticking these embellishments down. I thought I'd sped this part up a bit more, but apparently not. This layout actually came together really, really quickly. The photo is of my husband and my dog, and my husband has a new cap which he's wearing when he goes to the football or the soccer, depending on where in the world you are. And everyone always says to him it's a Peaky Blinders cap. I've never watched Peaky Blinders, but I know what it is, and I think that you can watch it on Netflix throughout the world, so I guess a lot of people will know what it is. But and then I just thought it would be really cute to take a photo of them when he picked up our dog. They look really cute together, and I made the photo black and white so that it would kind of look retro, and you know, to be in keeping with the cap. So yeah, okay, so I'm just putting some foam pads on the back, well, just foam which I've cut to size, on the back of that sentiment there, which is the one that I think says love you. Yeah, and sticking that down, and then the hello die cut does go up there, and again I forget to stick it down, but I stuck it down afterwards, before the final layout, but that goes there. So I'm just looking through embellishments. What should I do next? Thinking I put some on. This is actually cut out from one of the stencils. It was just some flowers which I cut out and thought would be nice to use separately. I'm unlikely to use it because there's another flower stencil in there anyway, so I don't need two. So I thought I would use it that way. The other stencils I'll probably use ultimately anyway, all covered in ink and texture paste, just for something a bit different. So yeah, so you might see that later in one of my videos. Okay, now it's time for the title. So they're my favourite boys, so why not my two favourite boys as the title? So that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to use 3 of the different alphabets that we've got. This one is sort of like a matte gold foam thicker, Really, really nice. I love a bit of gold on my layouts, and it goes well with the yellow that I have there. So, of course, I'm spelling favourite the UK English way. And it's quite nice actually to be able to use the alphabets to make our own words, because quite often with words that are already built, they're spelled the American way, and although it's not a major thing, sometimes I'd rather just have it the English way. So there we go. We have favourite. Oops, my hair. And then these are Hip Kit Club exclusive alphas. So they're just sort of, what do we call them? Let me just pull it out and I'll be able to say, I don't know, they're just sort of, you know, like puffy alphas, I guess. And they work really well. And then the final alphabet that I'm going to use is the Hip Kit exclusive, the small ones that come with the Project Life kit. And we quite often get these little tiny alphas, and they're really great. They're very versatile, and they come in 4 colours. So they're very easy to use. So there we go. So my 2 favourite boys, and just keeping the ruler there to make sure that I put this on straight. I don't want wonky titles, which is not unusual for me, but there you go. So then I just want to add in one final little bit, which is this little die cut heart. And I'm just going to use foam to raise it off the page a little bit for some dimension. And then that's going to go next to the word boys. And oh no, there is one more thing after this. So just stick that down there. Okay, so what I decided is on the right we're a bit bare, so I cut out a section from the right hand side, just rough cut, nothing too straight or fancy about it, just sort of a semicircular type cut. And then I'm going to put some of this fantastic gingham paper. This is a Hip Kit Club exclusive as well, and it's really gorgeous. I think it's my favourite paper in the kit, and I love both sides because the other side is the pale blue with the white leaves on them. I love that too. I've cut some of those leaves out for past layouts. They're so nice. So here we go. I'm going to stick that on the back of there with my ATG gun. I get it a bit wonky to start with, but straighten it up. So there's a bit of colour comes off of the paper at the top there, but it's fine. You know, it doesn't really show, and it just makes it look a bit more rustic. So there we go. And I just put my scissors down the edge just to lift it a little bit, and then cut off the edges, obviously. But no, just put my scissors down here just to lift it a little bit, so it's easier for me to then put my fingers in to crease it up. There we go, and I think that's the final layout. Yep, there we go, there's the final layout. I hope you like it. I will be back with another layout, sorry, probably in a couple of weeks. If you like it, please subscribe and like the video. I'd be very grateful. Thank you, bye bye.